Hello and welcome. Is this thing on? Okay, I'm pretty loud, they say, so we're going to hope you can all hear me. Hello and welcome to the now you can definitely hear me. Okay, can we hear me with this? No. All right. Yeah, perfect. We had this all tested earlier, just so you know. Hello and welcome to the Strings Attached Orchestra's 9th annual holiday concert. SAO would like to welcome you, our friends and family, to our largest ever hybrid concert. Hybrid, but not working so well with the tech. Yeah. Perfect. We're going to skip the microphone if it does that.
Yeah.
Okay. We would like to thank you all for coming to hear us play. Whether it's your first holiday concert or your 9th, or somewhere in between, we are very thrilled to have you as our audience. We are excited to be here at the Leopold's Theater for the first time with you here today, and we hope you enjoy our concert. It is my great pleasure to introduce you to our new conductor and musical director, Jonathan Wong. It has been a wonderful first few months working with Jonathan, and we are excited to present what we have all worked together on. You can read about Jonathan in your program book, and with no further ado, we would like to get to playing some music for you. Please join me in welcoming Jonathan Wong.
okay. That work?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So, leaving this prop there. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us tonight. My name is Jonathan Wong. It's my great privilege to now serve as the Stringless Hats Orchestra's new music director and conductor, and to welcome you to our first holiday concert together. The piece you just heard was by the American violinist and arranger and YouTube personality, Lindsay Sterling. She is quite popular these days and doing quite well amongst the population that goes on YouTube a lot. She's full of energy. She has these great costumes and choreography that she builds into these kind of pop-style music videos for her sort of classical-style arrangements, and is doing a great part in therefore bringing a violin playing and overall these kind of classical idioms to a more popular audience. There are lots of notes about all the other pieces in the repertoire and this one in your program notes, which you're welcome to peruse. If you're helping us save the planet and save some costs with viewing your program notes electronically, there was a link and a QR code outside. If you're doing that, we appreciate it very much. And we still ask you to keep your devices off and silent during the performance. So if you could view your digital program notes between or after the concert, that'd be very much appreciated to not disturb your fellow audience member. Our second piece for you today is by another famous, very popular, world-renowned violinist back in his day. And his day was around the turn of the 17th century. Right? So around 1690, Arcangelo Corelli was a very famous across the continent of Europe, a violinist, a theoretician, and a composer who wrote many concerti and sonata that in particular featured string instruments, himself being one of the greatest violinists of his time and a player that really developed the violin to the kind of virtuoso and often leadership status that we have in the orchestra today. And so today we'll be playing three movements from his Concerto Grosso, Opus 6, number 8, which is more commonly known to us as the Christmas Concerto. It's nicknamed as such because we think it's most likely that it was written to be performed at a Christmas Day service in the year 1690, maybe, give or take a couple years, right around there. We'll be playing three movements out of the 6 movements of the whole piece for you today, starting with a brisk and then solemn, broad opening movement, which will be followed by an allegro, which is a sort of characteristically competitive Baroque concerto-style movement with bits and pieces of the music being thrown back and forth in between our soloists and the rest of the orchestra. And we'll follow that up with the famous Pastorale, which is Corelli's most famous concerto moment, which features these long flowing melodies that back in Baroque times would have been reminiscent of traditional Christmas music played in Baroque Italy on these traveling musician ensembles of double reed instruments and bagpipes. Apparently bagpipes are festive in Italy at the time. I really don't know. But you'll hear these long melodies that were supposed to soothe and calm people as these wandering musicians would go from town to town playing this music. Right, so again, this is Corelli's Christmas Concerto. We're playing 3 movements of it for you today, and we'll be featuring violin solos from Linda and Lee, and cello solos from Ed. Thank you very much. So, as many of you are well aware, Strings Attached Orchestra prides itself on being a member-based organization and being a community music group, a place where people from all walks of life come in together to form this community in which we play. An important part of our work, I believe, as our role as a community music ensemble, is also to situate ourselves as part of the greater community in which we live. Whether it's the building that we're playing in right now, the place we usually rehearse in, the greater city of Toronto, and also the greater musical community that we're a part of. And we do so by featuring local performers and talents, and also, ideally, by playing Canadian music. And that's why we are so excited to be presenting our next piece for you tonight, which will be the public premiere of the string orchestra arrangement of a piece called From Darkness into Light on Hanukkah by composer Itamar Danziger. And we are particularly pleased because Itamar is with us tonight. I do think that's pretty cool. And so at this point, I'd like to invite Itamar to come up and say a couple of words about this piece before we present it to you. Would you help me welcome Itamar?
Hi, everybody. Thanks to everybody for coming. So just a few quick words about my experience and stuff. So this piece was really originally for a wind group out west. But 2 years ago, it was a COVID concert, but then it became a spring orchestra piece, which I'm very excited to hear today. And the piece really was supposed to be a mixture of feelings that was supposed to mix all those feelings just like in real life, because feelings are never black and white. So that's, and through that you'll hear some Hanukkah themes tucked away, hidden away in the music. And I do really want to thank the orchestra, because trying out new pieces is risky, it's gutsy. So I'm really thankful to you guys for coming, and to the orchestra and Jonathan for trying it out. So, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
That's why we play pieces about living composers. Beethoven doesn't answer my emails. We have someone come, and Itamar also joined in our last rehearsal on the piece, and just gave us that little bit of information that helps us understand how we as performers really try to embody the spirit of a work, and hopefully can communicate that to you today. I love playing concerts. It's nice to be back again. All right. While we're here, if I could ask whoever's in the booth, if we could get the slideshow paused or screen up or just blacked off, that'd be nice. Okay. There are many pictures of me that I'd rather not see. So if we get the slideshow off, that'd be great. Yeah. As we work on it. Our next piece for you today is by American composer Brian Balmages. This piece is called Ice Sculptures. That's how I felt when I walked into the building today. So this is a piece reflecting on the beauty and the incredible craft that goes into building these giant clear blocks of whatever it is. I've always been mesmerized by them, the fact that they're transparent, that they glow in the light. If you've ever been down on Bloor Street during the Bloor Yorkville Ice Fest, I've seen these giant, entire cars of ice. Right? And it's incredible. And so Balmain just took inspiration from these things and how people would build them up, and the artists that would create them, and combined them with the idea of the ice hotel, which are these entire buildings in which you can live and sleep and eat on blocks of ice. Right? I'm totally put mattresses on top of the ice block to sleep on. Besides that, really, it's an entire building. Imagine this entire room full of ice, what that might look like, what that might sound like. And so at the start of the piece, you'll hear a solo cello, which in my mind is the artist. And you hear him sculpt and craft and breathe life into his frozen medium. And then we have a middle section full of the life and the excitement and the curiosity and the bravery of all these people who go out many thousand kilometers away to live in these ice buildings for a week. Right? And their sense of adventure coming to an end at the end of the piece, where inevitably the hotel and the sculptures must melt away. And we hear the solo cellos reminisce on that again. Again, this is Ice Sculptures by American composer Brian Balmages. The slides are on. There we go. Our next piece for you is by another American composer, another living composer, Morten Lauridsen. Morten Lauridsen was named an American choral master by the U.S. National Endowment of the Arts. He writes nearly entirely only choral music, music for choirs, right? And his music is known for a certain mix of sacredness, of beauty, and of great power that touch a wide variety of audiences. So, this piece, the O Manu Mysterium, is originally a piece for a cappella choir. And it's a very popular piece for a cappella choir, one of the most performed pieces of music during this season. And we're playing it in a string orchestra arrangement done by Dr. Sandra Dachau, who is an arranger and conductor in the United States. So this is Lauridsen's O Manu Mysterium. The composer talks a lot about this piece. He wrote a great editorial, I think it's the Wall Street Journal on the piece, I don't remember which one it was, it's a big deal. But he describes the piece ultimately as whatever your beliefs may be, he wants to share this piece as a quiet song of profound inner joy. We hope you might find some of that with us today. It is Morten Lauridsen's O Manu Mysterium. sings in the choir, go tell your choir to sing that piece. It'll change your life. All right. So at this point, I need to stall for because we have some stage business to do up here. We need to reset for our next piece, which is by the American composer Richard Meyer. If you've been reading along your program notes, you notice that I didn't write much about this piece because there isn't much to say about it. It's not your usual type of concerto. We do have soloists. Today the roles of soloists will be played by Ed and Claire and Linda. It's so great to have some homegrown talent in this orchestra that we can call upon when we have such special music to play. What else can I say? It is the one bow and not the one bow. We'll get 3 bows, just 3 of them. You may wonder why it's called the one bow concerto. Well, I don't know yet. We'll find out. What else can I say? We're getting pretty close here. We have a very tight stage space, if you haven't noticed, so just kind of shuffling around here. Go forward. Like many concerti, if you've ever seen a concerto with multiple soloists, there often is that kind of competitive nature where they try to outdo each other. So you might find some of that here, but by the end of the piece, we'll see if we can figure out who's really in charge. We're good? Good soloist? All right. This is Meyer's One Bow Concerto. Enjoy, if that's the right word. need this anymore. Leave it in front here. It's not an auction, we bid that off right now.
All right, while they're getting everything together and putting things away, I wanted to take a little moment to speak to you again. So, hello again. Today's concert has been exhilarating for us, and we would like to thank you, our audience, for being such a wonderful, amazing audience. Today is a special day for us. This is our first holiday concert after the start of the pandemic that follows somewhat of a new normal routine. And it's wonderful to play here today for a packed audience, despite the snow and our lovely Canadian weather. For those of you who are new to the Strings Attached Orchestra, we have a mission. We fill our lives with music and we share it with others. This is a charitable mission, so you guys don't count. Sorry. We focus on playing for retirement homes, community centers, schools, hospitals, and it is so rewarding. The smiles on the residents' faces when we play makes all the work that goes into SAO absolutely worthwhile. This has also been a wonderful season in which we are thrilled to say we are back to performing our community concerts. It's been really hard over the pandemic, but in this season alone, we've already played 3 community concerts with 1 more later in the week. At this point in our program, we would like to extend a very heartfelt thank you to all those people who have contributed and helped make this happen, either financially, through giving of themselves in a volunteer capacity, or in any other way. In particular, I would like to thank our orchestra members who have gone above and beyond and always do, our partners and our spouses who have put up with us through the highs and the lows of the past couple of years, and the highs of this fall as well, our sponsors, donors, and advertisers, without whom we would not be able to continue our charitable mission of bringing music into the community, our volunteers who helped this concert run so smoothly, and my fellow board members who work tirelessly all the time to make sure that we keep everything on track. And, most importantly, my husband, Daniel Levenstein, who is definitely the wind beneath my wings. This list grows longer and longer every year, so please forgive me if I don't acknowledge each and every one of you personally. I'm not sure that all of our audience members have the patience to hear me run through the entire list. I would also like to give a very special thank you to Jonathan Wong. Jonathan has been our new fearless leader, and we appreciate everything he has done. This has been a wonderful fall. Thank you. In conclusion, thank you once again to all of our members who make this music happen by coming and practicing their parts so faithfully. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you so much. And finally, a request to our audience. If you've enjoyed this evening, please consider giving a donation to the Strings Attached Orchestra so we can continue to perform in community centers, hospitals, retirement homes, and all those places where smiles are such an important thing. Your generosity is directly responsible for those smiles on the residents' faces, and we couldn't have done it without all of your continued support. Thank you so much.
I have a thank you segment at the end. It won't be too long. But first, we have one last piece on the program that you see for you tonight. This comes from the movie The Polar Express, 2003? It's been a while. It was scored by Alan Silvestri, who was well known for scoring films such as the Back to the Future series. He just did that Disney Pinocchio that came out 3 months ago, which I didn't know existed until a night ago. Apparently this is new Pinocchio that has pretty good reviews, so if you want to check out that. But he's quite well known in the American film scoring world. 2 Oscar nominations, other shiny objects are under his name. So this is just a nice sweet medley of tunes from that movie. There are 4 songs total here. We'll have some percussion toys to help us sound festive in the back, tinkling things and ringing things. There's some loud things as always. And as a bonus, Well, there are three main types of conductors in the world, right? There are conductors of electricity, and there are orchestral conductors, and there are train conductors. And today, you might meet 2 out of the 3 in this piece. Enjoy. Thank you very much for coming tonight. We hope everyone's had something that they liked in that program. And we hope to invite you back on June 25th for our season end concerts. Wrapping up our entire year, we'll go all the way to June. In fact, we have rehearsal tomorrow night. Maybe left. Maybe. But we have lots of great music planned for that one too. And so we invite you to come back in June 25th. June 25th, it's Sunday afternoon as well, or Sunday evening. We haven't quite figured it out yet. But on that program, we'll be exploring some music that takes us across space and time, and that explores the idea of the stories that we tell and the music that we play, and the music about the stories that we tell, and how over the years and over the centuries, what happens as we tell and retell these ancient, long-loved stories over and over again. And what happens when we play and replay this music over time? How does that change the story that we tell? How does it change the music? And how does it change us as we play it? We'd love to invite you back for a great program with some more special guests in June. And for a little taste of that, we have one last piece for you today. This is also by American composer Brian Balmagers, who wrote Ice Sculptures. And as a little exploration into our thinking about the past and present in June, this is Balmagers' arrangement of Scarborough Fair. Oh, you know it, good. That's it. That's really it. Thank you very much.